Hey everybody, thanks so much for checking out this tutorial with Airtable. They have been a great partner to Superpath. I'm so excited that they are supporting this community. Airtable is a really powerful tool. It's a tool that I've used to build content calendars since 2017 or so. They're right at the forefront of the no-code trend. If you haven't built bases in Airtable before, I'd recommend trying it out. Like, as someone who's not technical, I can't write code. It's so much fun. It's so empowering to go and build things that, create these functionalities and these workflows that otherwise you would need to be able to program to do. So for the non-technical folks, if you want to own your own workflow, Airtable is just really a fantastic way to do that. I wanted to also let you know that Airtable is offering Superpath members, subscribers, and readers $500 in credit towards their Airtable account. So the premium plans are between $10 and $25 a month. $500 is going to take you a long way. That gets you all the automations. It gets you unlimited bases. It gets you extra storage. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. If you do want to redeem that offer, again, it's $500 in credit towards Airtable's Pro plans. Just go to airtable.com/superpath. Thanks so much for checking this video out, everyone, and take care.
Awesome. So you were both bringing up some really good points there around, these are all the same data, but we've really augmented them for this particular workflow. And that's kind of what drew me to Airtable in the first place, is just being able to just constantly update and change as those needs change. So we've updated that all along. So the thing that I actually want to show you is some optimizations that we've created, just because, like managing this base isn't my full-time thing, but I work very cross-functionally with a lot of different stakeholders, and we constantly just iterate on this thing, and people will send me suggestions, and we've really built an awesome workflow system here. So I'm going to show you one thing that I think has saved, countless hours over the team, and that's when it comes down to like task management and request backlogs. So one thing that we noticed when people were creating these deliverables is that they would jump off into their own task management tool, spreadsheets, or their own Airtable base, and they would start creating lists of tasks, how to complete that deliverable. But that created all these different silos where you didn't understand, the progress of the deliverable and how they're actually related to those tasks. So we actually kind of brought all of those. The first step was to bring all of those individuals' tasks into this main hub. So like Margaret showed you, she keeps her own there, and she can duplicate them over here, or even synchronize that base into here, and it'll all kind of be in one place. So creating tasks is a super manual process, and a lot of tasks are very one-off and very specific, and you want to go in and like, if I want to create a new task for this deliverable, I might expand that record again and just scroll down to wherever the tasks are, and I can start here. I'll show you where they are. So they're all right here, and I could manually add a new one, and that's great because that already linked the tasks, already linked the deliverables, and lets us do a little bit richer reporting. But we started noticing that there's a lot of duplicated tasks. So a lot of times when we're producing a website or a blog post or something, it's the exact same set of 10, 20, 30 tasks every single time we spin up that project. So we thought, like, there's got to be a better way to do this, and that's where templates come in. So the first step to using templates is we defined. I'll show you this table where we actually store our templates. We defined, what are those standard sets of processes that need to happen for every time this particular type of deliverable actually gets shipped. And so this is great. You could copy and paste this onto each deliverable and basically recreate that project every single time. That saves a lot of time. So we took that improvement, and we actually have this app in the marketplace that right here, we have this thing that is called Create Records for Multiple Templates. So our first step was we installed that, and that gave our users a button on this deliverables field, or rather deliverables table. They could just click and automatically generate all those tasks that are associated with it. So Yeah, if you have
And
any
then it's
questions around that,
fully,
just jump right in.
I just
Yeah.
want to say, because this is important for my workflow, is that those are then fully, you can edit or customize or change them. So we've outlined, these are the usual 10 steps associated with, say, a blog post. We know it usually goes through this flow, but I also know every blog post is different. There are different people involved. So I also want it to be fully flexible. So I can then go in and say, oh, I actually don't want this task. I do want this task. I want an extra day for this task. I want a different driver than usual for this task. I can customize all of that. But to Cody's point, we were just, something I've always found with production is that there are these repetitive tasks that you know you're going to have to do every time. And even having a starting point, okay, here's the typical framework. A allows me to predict how long it's going to take to produce something and have like much better sense of, okay, this is not realistic to ship in a week because I can see in my task it's going to take 12 days. Or it gives me the opportunity to say like, okay, here's some ways I can like cut away, or here's something that I can condense or skip if I really do need to hit a deadline. So it's really powerful for us on the content production side.
That's cool. Quick follow-up question about the marketplace. Can we take a peek at that? So the marketplace is interesting. So this is integrations with other apps. And these are predefined. You did not customize these for this particular base.
We didn't customize these ones. There are a lot of predefined bases, and like that script that I just showed you, that's like a simple application that does that task duplication.
Got it.
But yeah, we've got lots of kind of first party apps that integrate with things like Jira and some third party apps that integrate with Miro and Pexels pull in stock photography. So yeah, these are all included, and you just add them right into your base.
Got it. I think that's cool.
As needed.
The reason I find that interesting is because I find that for many content teams, workflows are they're really only loosely defined, and there's lots of room for optimization. So like, say you move from Sheets to Airtable, you kind of mirror the process you had, kind of make it, it looks nicer. There's a couple automations. And then you're like, how do I get it to the next level? Sometimes this is a nice place to go because you can see, oh, well, we do use SendGrid. So like, is there a way that we could save time there and integrate there? Or, whatever. Just having a little bit of like inspiration to take it to the next level can be really helpful.
Yeah, we hear it a lot of times that it's kind of described as like a Lego set. Like you've got a lot of building blocks here that you can just really assemble to create the workflow you want. But it's like you can reassemble them later when that workflow changes, and add on to it as you onboard more people or more use cases. So it's that's really been one of the parts that I love about the platform and building on it. Like I come from a development background. So it wasn't so easy to change apps that I was building, in code, and, it went through these long revision cycles here. I mean, it kind of feels like we're playing around. You're just like playing around to create these optimal workflows. So it's a good lead in to kind of talk about where we took it next. So you can take these things off the shelf, or you can customize them even further. So what I did is I took that script, and a lot of the people who were using that, like it was saving them a lot of time, but we got feedback that, it's creating these tasks in the background. I can't see what they're actually linked to as soon as I'm creating them. So there must be a better way to do that. And what we did is we created this app called Airtasks that is just a simple user interface on top of that exact same script. So just composing all these things together. So now what you get is when you click on an actual one of these deliverables, you can see all the tasks that are associated just in line.
Oh, that's cool.
So this is nice. It gives you the side-by-side view. You can click in and you can see, links to that same record, and you can see this little line shows that it links directly up to the tasks. So and I should show you actually how it works. I'm gonna go, maybe I'll create a new record so I don't mess with anybody else's stuff right now.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it. I'm imagining this is so interesting. I'm imagining like simple and complex use cases for something like this. Like, one thing like every content team does is like you have a content calendar and you have there's a set of tasks associated with assigning articles, editing, et cetera. But then there's all the things that happen afterwards. Did it get posted to this or that social media network? Did you build the backlinks from this old thing to the, you can just track all that stuff. So none of it ends up getting lost.
Exactly. And you can pull some of that data in from a lot of those integrations also, which is awesome.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So like I said, we've defined a bunch of different deliverable templates here. I'm just going to show you a kind of a sample one that I created that says do not use. So that's a perfect thing to use. Where we can just click this and you can see it's got 5 tasks that should run. And I can just click this button and it'll actually automatically create them. And you can see that it also set up my dependent tasks. So that's super powerful because I've already defined that in the template. Those things, if I actually had a due date assigned, it would automatically backfill these based on all of those dependencies and use my due date as kind of that starting point.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it really tells you, what day do I need to start this project to deliver it on time based on the duration of all these tasks, these underlying tasks.
That's crazy.
So like what I'm used to having to do is at the beginning of the quarter, like during quarterly planning, we're like, okay, we're going to deliver this. We've been asked to complete a white paper by this date. Okay. So, all right. It's going to take a week to design. Okay, cool. So we need to have it to the designer by that date. Okay. So we need final copy by this date. Okay. So we're going to need final approvals by this date. Okay. And it's, if this sounds familiar to you, incredibly painful process, all just to get to the point where you realize you should have started it 2 weeks ago, right?
Right.
And like this at scale, like you have to do this for every single asset that you want to create. And I used a lot of tools. I've used Post, I've used Newscred, Contently, someone on a Smartsheet. I've used all of those to try and like make that process less painful. And none of them do exactly what I need to do. I could get into that. But what I need to do is very specific. And basically, like, it's just not going to come out of a box anywhere because it's so specific to the way that I work and how I work with my teams.
Right.
So I was able to come to Cody with my team and say, all right, this is our crazy workflow. Like, this is how we need to do things. This is the only way we know it will ship. And Cody and my team were able to put together these templates and make this process automatic. And it's exactly what we need. It's not kind of what we need, plus we have to do some things on the side. It's exactly what we need. And there's just, I've come to realize there's just no out of the box product that's going to be exactly what each team needs because the needs are so unique and the workflows are so unique. So that's where I get really excited about Airtable, is knowing not only were we able to build just what we need, if next week my process changes, that's fine. We don't need a new product. We don't need to redo our whole base. We just can make an adjustment in this script that Cody has already built. And that's like super exciting. Just had to interject.
Yeah, that's really cool. This has just like my brain turning about, like, I use Airtable for my own personal content calendar. I'm the only one that uses it. I don't collaborate with anyone, but I've even found things that save me tons of time. For example, when I add a new card with a blog post idea, it sits there until I move it to a kind of like an approved column. When that happens, a Google Doc is created. The Google Doc has all the metadata in there that I need. And then the URL to that is put back in the card so that I always know where to find it. There's a Google Drive folder that stores it all. Like, and for me, that's like hugely helpful. And I'm just one person, this is like so there's sort of like that version of it. Then there's this other version of it where, a team of 10 plus, or really, I guess, 30 people on a marketing team are all interacting with this so that they have views that can create visibility for leadership. But then at the same time, each individual gets what they need out of it so that they can stay on top of their own work. I find that to be very inspiring, kind of like a little mind bendy. I'm imagining lots of different ways that even me as an individual could do more to save myself time.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for teeing up like the team aspect also, because like once, it is awesome as an individual task manager and things like that. But once you do have everybody creating their tasks in one place, teams really use this as a resource allocation tool. So, we have a creative team who runs their daily stand-ups in front of this view. So, they can see all of the deliverables that are supposed to ship this week or the next week. They're filtered by whatever parameters they want to filter by, all the statuses, who are assigned to them all right here. and when they're actually going to start and end. So they
Wow.
literally pulled the space up and they talk through these every single day. So that's awesome. And they can also, they've built out these Gantt charts also. So they can get a high level view of the entire year with linked dependencies and milestones. And you can see exactly here, like the current status of those. So why is this red? You can click on that and it'll expand that record. You can deep dive and understand what's actually going on behind here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. You can shift timelines this way. These, I won't drag and drop the creative teams things. This is our real content, but yeah, you can adjust entire timelines right from this view. So it's really,
so you drag and then it actually updates the date fields in that record.
It does.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All this is using is that start and end date from that exact same record. So it just updates it. That's the beauty of it all being.
That's so interesting. That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, that's funny. Yeah. I'm thinking of like the way that Airtable does the formatting for the fields in a very simplistic way. This is like a whole new level. But I guess once you have all the context around what each individual field means, then yeah, you can build all kinds of different views based in very specific ways on what that data means.
Absolutely. Yeah. So once people are working in here, you can start reporting. And I think Margaret wants to show you one more thing that we show to leadership. So I'm going to pass it back to you.
Cody and I have shown all the ways that we work in this space. We're obviously super in the weeds. Like it's on us to make sure that things are delivered and that this is all running smoothly. But a pain point I have always had, I'm sure others do too, is getting your execs the level of information that they need. Because my CMO does not want to know every single task associated to every single piece. The information she basically wants is like, when is it coming? Who's driving it? Maybe what is it? But the nice thing about building her a personal view, so our CMO is named Archana, so I made her a special view. This is her content calendar. Anyone can view this, but I could make it completely private to her if I wanted. And this is giving her content calendar. So she does not have to say, hey, Margaret, it's Monday. What's shipping this week? What can I expect? What's going on? She can just come to this calendar that's been built just for her. And this just looks like this is the view that she likes things in. I could make her a Kanban view. I could show her a Gantt chart like the one that Cody just showed us. If she preferred looking at info in a grid, I could do that too. As it so happens, she wants to see things in a calendar, and I think that's a nice way to visualize content. She can also see the kind of individual pieces here. These are color coded in a way that gives her a sense of all the different formats and channels. And what's really cool is that a question that she had this quarter, so this is all real, was how much of what we're doing is related to this marketing launch? How much of what we're doing is going to tie into a product roadmap use case, and how much of this is just horizontal? Because she needs to come to her sales team and say, hey, we're really putting muscle behind this marketing launch, for example. Right. So by tagging the assets by audience, which is just, as easy as clicking a button and adding a new field, I was able to build her a little chart. And this is the chart app. Cody was just showing us all of the apps. This is one that I use a lot. So I was able to build her this little chart that will just show up in her view. And these are Archana's views, right, that I made for her so she can understand what's happening here.
That's cool.
Yeah, and she can just say like, okay, we're doing a fair amount of horizontal content. She can click on that and see exactly what that content is, because these are all actual records pulling in. Or she can say, here's everything related to marketing. Awesome. Here's everything related to product. Great. Here's my general breakdown. And that's something you can completely customize. Whatever your C-suite cares about, you can build them a chart. And it's automatically updated. I don't have to go in here and update it when things change. If one of these assets came off of our list, if it got moved to next quarter, for example, or if it just got completely de-scoped, I don't need to go in here and update Archana's chart. It's just pulling in automatically. The other thing she wanted to know, because we've been talking about this as a team, is to the point around resource allocation. She was like, who's actually producing this work? How strapped are my teams right now? And who's requesting the work too? So super cross-functional marketing team, like most teams are. Folks are requesting things from one another. Folks are driving projects, but folks are also contributing to projects. So, in any of these assets, like let's look at this landing page. You can see we've got a lot of notes in here. You can see that this was requested from performance marketing. They wanted this landing page built. And I can also see all of the teams who are involved in making this happen, right? So it's like, it's one little landing page, but like that means web design, that means SEO, that means top of funnel content, performance marketing, self-serve product marketing, all involved. So so when I look at this department producing chart, it's going to pull in all that information. This is completely built based on what my particular CMO wants, right? Like these are the things that she cared about this quarter. It could change mid-quarter and I could bring up completely different charts, completely different apps. If I wanted to create a view for someone else on the team, it might look totally different. But what's nice is that it is completely customizable to what I'm going to need. Like Cody was showing us that whole app marketplace. There's so many different ways that we might want to visualize information or highlight different aspects of the strategy. And we can do all of that right within the base.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Leadership visibility is a real challenge for a lot of content teams. I don't know that I've ever come across a better way than what you've just showed us to give a CMO visibility into what's happening in content marketing. Because typically, like, if you're using whatever tool to keep track of your content, there's no flexibility, and therefore the CMO has to learn how to use that exact tool in order to understand what's going on, versus just kind of like shaping it a little bit for them and saying, here, this is your link. Everything you need is right here.
Yeah. Well, and what's nice too is if I make a little, that's actually the wrong thing. If I make a little share view link here, I can specify how much access I want to give people to that link. But let's just say I want them to be able to copy data, but not really like do anything to the actual base. If I give them that link, here's how that looks. So I can't edit anything.
So it's read only. So no one's gonna mess it up.
Right. And it's actually like, I find that to be less about the person sharing and more about the person you're sharing it with. Folks get really nervous when you send them a live link to their calendar and they're suddenly like, oh, am I going to mess up your whole process by going in here? This is really nice because they can just see it, know they're not going to hurt anything, and like back away slowly.
Right. That's really cool. Very nice and clean.
Yeah, exactly. We do have, options. We can give them more or less access, sort of depending on what they need. And also my exec can also just go into the base. Of course, she has access and she can look at her view from there too.
Right.
So there's lots of different ways to share.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
This has been awesome. We've covered a lot of ground. Like I said previously, like everything from like, simple workflow to like entire marketing team. I love the flexibility of Airtable. I've been a happy customer of Airtable for years. I'm not just saying that. I genuinely love the product. I find that like for someone who's not technical, it is just so much fun to get in there and just build Airtable bases. Like actually, I remember at Animals in the early days, anytime we needed a new Airtable base, there was a group of us that would kind of fight over who got to do it because it was fun. It was just like fun to get in there and play around with it. And then today, like I said, I'm running my own content calendar on it. I also do simple things like I keep track of like the books I've read and I tag them. I have like a training log where I track my runs and integrate it with Strava. Like there's all these little things you start doing once you kind of get into the product. So really appreciate your time today.
It's totally pick up. I recently built an apartment hunting base when I was looking for an apartment, and it was really fun to use Airtable for like a non-work reason.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I recall when my business partner Walter was looking for a house, he was keeping track of, I think he actually used the Zillow API to send things to Airtable. And then he was tracking price per square foot and he was sorting by that so that he could prioritize like what he thought were good deals and not. And then he ranked neighborhoods. And anyways, if you really want to nerd out, you can do all those things. Also, you can just run an awesome content workflow on it too. And it's a super powerful tool for that.
Well, thank you so much, Jimmy, for having us.
Yeah, thank you both so much. I know you have plenty going on. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. I also just appreciate your expertise, not just on the workflow stuff, but on the content stuff, because this is now, it's not an abstract concept that content folks need to now go translate. Like this is it. This is exactly how it works for content teams. So Airtable, check it out.
Great CTA. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, Jimmy.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thanks so much for checking out that video. Just a quick reminder, Airtable is now an official partner of Superpath. As part of that, they're offering a $500 credit towards their pro plans. To redeem that, just go to airtable.com/superpath. Thanks so much for watching and take care.